The focus of this session is to discuss how proper delegation affects your time management. We will dig deeper into how delegation affects your team dynamic in the next module. As you grow in your career, you will be asked to lead a team and work on larger projects. To accomplish your goals, you will need to successfully delegate tasks to members of your team. But which tasks do you delegate and which ones do you work on? The decision matrix you just reviewed works as a guide to help you determine what you should focus on and what needs to be delegated. Please also refer back to your behavioral assessment to better understand what you bring to delegation and potential challenges you may have with delegating tasks. If you're using time blocking with tags for administrative and project time, and you have a to-do list and maybe a separate activity list, you should be able to delegate appropriately. Tasks fall into four categories: urgent and important, which is the upper left side of the quadrant. This is what you get paid to do. As a task is presented, is it urgent and important? This could be a member request, your boss's request, or an event that's happening soon. It could be a task within a larger project that's timely. Think ordering the band for a New Year's Eve event. Once you identify that it is urgent and important, assign it to yourself and get it done. Here's a good rule of thumb. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, don't schedule it or put it on a list. Knock it out. The next category is important but less urgent. This is the upper right side of the quadrant. These tasks should be scheduled. If you use time blocking, is this an administrative task? Is it a project task? Tag it as such and tackle it when you have the appropriate time blocked. Examples of these items can include almost every email. A good practice, and a lot of people do this, is to check emails first thing in the morning. Anything that is urgent and important gets responded to immediately. All other emails can be responded to at the appropriate time block. Check your emails again in the middle of the day. Same routine. Respond to urgent and important. All others get responded to during the next admin block. A final check of emails can be done at the end of the day before leaving. Again, respond to all that are urgent and important. Leave the remainder for the next admin block. Another example of important but less urgent task is giving the final proofread on a document. Maybe it's an upcoming wine dinner. You need to finalize it so someone else can print and promote it. But you don't need to stop what you're doing right now to accomplish this. Schedule this time. Another example is working on the budget or updating the website. These are both important, specifically if there's a deadline, but not urgent and not worth you dropping everything right now. The final example is inspecting a project that was completed by the grounds crew or your maintenance team. The project needs to be checked in a timely manner, but it's not urgent. Be aware, these items, if not addressed in a timely manner, will become urgent and important. The goal here is to schedule these items, honor your schedule, protect your calendar, and complete the task. Falling behind with these items will cause a ripple effect on all other tasks. The third category is urgent but less important. This is the lower left side of the quadrant. This is where most up-and-coming managers struggle. Because the item is urgent, you have the tendency to tackle the task or project yourself. Because it is less important, you need to delegate the task or item. What are some examples of this? Maybe a member reaches out to you and asks for a specific table tonight for dinner, or a specific wine to be served with dinner. Maybe one of the departments calls and says there's a light out in their pro shop. Maybe two employees come to you complaining about a recently posted schedule. Now, this is assuming you don't have scheduling responsibility. Another example is a vendor calls and they haven't received a check for the recent order. They think the check might be lost in the mail. To be successful, you must delegate these items. Try as hard as you can to allow your team to address these issues. Follow up to make sure they don't need assistance, but let them handle it. Many times, it will be more efficient for you to handle these tasks, but you need to delegate them to your team. Your team needs to know that you trust them. And as your responsibility grows, the quantity of tasks will increase exponentially. Get comfortable with delegating appropriate tasks to your team. It shows you recognize their authority and trust them to complete the task. We're going to dig into this a lot more during the live education. The fourth and final quadrant is non-urgent and non-important. This is the lower right side of the quadrant. If it really needs to be accomplished by you, you could put these items on your activity list. But take an honest and objective look at the task. Do you need to do it? Does it need to be done? Can it be deleted? If it hasn't gotten done yet, you're still employed. Does it need to get done? If it makes you feel better to not delete it, then go ahead and put it on your activity list for a future follow-up. The main goal here is do not let this task clutter your daily focus. Spend some time in the coming days trying to recognize where each daily task falls on this matrix. Are you spending what is your precious time on items that you need to accomplish, which is the top left quadrant? Are you scheduling appropriately so tasks can get done in a timely manner, but not interrupt today's focus? And lastly, are you delegating the appropriate tasks? Another blind spot for almost everyone is holding on to tasks you like. If you have a love for wine, you're going to gravitate to accomplishing all the tasks that revolve around wine. If you're a numbers person, you will gravitate to anything that involves an Excel spreadsheet. The opposite is also true. If you don't like a certain skill, say again, numbers, financials, budgets, you will postpone those tasks. Understanding your patterns, your likes, your dislikes will give tremendous insight into your time management. As you grow, you will continue to learn more about your team's strengths and blind spots. If you don't like numbers, who on your team does? Try to delegate tasks to team members' strengths. Look to fill your team with people who have different strengths and different blind spots. Ideally, everyone can offset each other's blind spots. We will go more in depth into the team dynamic in future sessions. In preparation for the live education, make a note, write down a few items that you think in the past you should have delegated, or you should have deleted, or you should have scheduled. Do you see any pattern in your style? Do you see certain tasks that automatically get put in urgent and important when they're not? Do you have an aversion to delegating to certain people, or do you have an aversion to delegating certain tasks? We'll discuss all this at the live education.